Okay, so I figured I'll do a quick review on this little Hunter Constantine belt. I've had this for a while at this point. Probably had it for, I'm gonna say, good like 2-3 months. Almost wore this guy exclusively. I did wear some other belts, but most of the time I wore this guy. And I wore it with a whole bunch of different guns, and I wore it in a whole bunch of different circumstances. So I figured I have a good like overview of what the heck is it all about, and what's good, what's bad, and all that stuff. So this is the typical configuration of me wearing gun belts. I have a Leatherman with all the goodies riding on the left, and it ends up being on the stretchy part of the belt on the left. If you think of it, it's like, I'm gonna say it's like 7, 8 o'clock, probably 8ish, 8 o'clock. That's where this usually sits on my waist. Gun is about 3 o'clock. I'll talk about different guns I had. And a knife is 12 o'clock. So this guy sits at 12. If you look at the belt, this part of it is rigid. So it's nice and sturdy. It's reinforced. It's very, very well made. So that's one thing you're not gonna hear me complain about. It's made really darn well. It's stitched just right. It's not falling apart. It's made really freaking well. I wore it in all kinds of different circumstances. The only thing that you can see is this is getting a little bit fuzzy from use. But other than that, it's been, used hard, beat on, and it's still perfectly fine. So yeah, the knife sits right about here. Now, what I wore it with and how I wore it, let's actually talk about it. So this is the alias system by Neomag. It fits on this belt perfectly fine. I don't have to adjust it between the belts. It works on this guy. It works on my core belt. It works on a whole bunch of different belts, and it works well. So it slides through. It doesn't tear up the belt like a wood leather core or ultimate carry belt by Blaytech. So those get torn up. The leather ones, they get torn up. This guy stays fairly alive. For me, sliding it on and off, nothing happens. I wore this guy with the fancy schmancy P365 Icarus grip. It's aluminum, so it's fairly heavy. This is like a heavier gun, heavier small gun. TLR7 sub, alien gear, holster that's been modified with the alias, system, little clip. So it's fairly heavy. The Leatherman is heavy as well. The Leatherman is on a stretchy part, so it goes up and down. Like when I'm like riding a motorcycle or anything, I can feel this thing bounce a little bit. It's not bad. There is not really an issue with that. I'll tell you what the issues are, but that's not really an issue. It kinda is there. It's alright. So yeah, I wore it with this guy as well as bigger guns. This is the Wilson Beretta. The way I wore this guy is I wore it completely concealed under the shirt, tucked in under, so the belt would ride under my pants, and I would have a fake belt go over in the belt loops over this one. So this one was basically, this guy basically just sat on my underwear, between my underwear and my pants, with the gun there. It is very, very quick to get the gun out that way. It's very concealable, and it's very quick to get the gun out that way. You just pick up the shirt, and the shirt gets tucked right over it. You can't see anything, specifically on the smaller guns. But I wore the bigger guns with it as well. This is the Wilson. I wore my Smith & Wesson M&P. That one has this metal clips that tear up your what's his name, your whatever cover garment that you put over the top of it. It works really well and it doesn't tear up the belt. Again, this belt is very well made, so it's not getting torn up by even these clips that chew up all my other belts. If you pick any of my belts, look at this core. Yeah, I don't know if I can focus it well enough, but if you look at this core, it's all torn up. It's torn up there and here. It's all torn up. It's torn up because clips like this tear it up. This thing is freaking indestructible. It's been really, really, fighting really, really well. And I wasn't easy on it. So these clips work perfectly fine on that belt. This black arch holster, also tackable. Also, it's a what's his name rig. It's basically a hybrid rig for the M&P. Works well with that belt as well. Never gave me issues. Nothing slides off of it. This part that's reinforced, the hard part, it's doing a really good job. Like, I have no problem with that whatsoever. I'll tell you what the issues are, but yeah. The other M&P, little hybrid Minotaur by Contact. So leather, bigger holster, bigger loops. They're bigger than they need to be, and they still take care of business. So it goes up and down, but it doesn't slide off. It's, again, the belt is doing a like really, really darn good job. And I wore it with the heaviest darn gun out of all of them. It's an LTT Beretta. Right, it's heavy as heck, and I wore it for many, many days. I wore it for services on Shabbos many, many times. Inside, so I wore the belt inside the pants with the gun on it, pants over the top of the belt, and had and had the fake belt, just a pretty belt of some kind going through the belt loops. That's how I would tuck the gun in. That would work very, very well. I also wore it most of the time, weekdays. I would wear this guy right through the loops of my pants, like I would a core belt or anything like that. And I wore it also on vacations and stuff, going to the beach and all that stuff. That I would wear right over my swimming suit. I would just basically go right over the bathing suit, and I would untuck my shirt and throw that over the top of it. That works really well as well. So I don't have to go under my bathing suit, because that's not really comfortable to have the gun, rubbing against your stuff if you're not wearing underwear. So that would go right over the top of the bathing suit, and I would have a shirt untucked over the top of that. Usually that's plenty of space to basically untucked shirt to cover the gun, because the bathing suit is worn a little bit higher on your body, so the gun sits completely on the bathing suit with the belt pushing it into the bathing suit, and that works really well for me. I carry 3 o'clock, so all of this stuff was carried 3 o'clock, but I try carrying appendix just for the heck of it, and it works appendix as well. I just don't do appendix, not my thing. Now, the cool thing is something like this little shield disappears completely, like completely disappears if you wear it in the manner that I described before, when I would have the shirt untucked, shirt tucked in, but the belt sitting under the pants over the underwear. This belt sitting right under the pants over the underwear, and then you would put some pretty dressy belt right through the loops and go like that. Now for the downside of this thing. The downside of it, pardon the really dirty darn pants, is when this is sitting and it's going through the belt loops. If you're wearing it through the belt loops, what ends up happening is every time you are going to the bathroom or putting your pants on or anything like that, you end up with it sitting just like this, which is normal, and then this side comes through here, and the buckle ends up being somewhat in front of your zipper. I happen to have mine a little bit to the left, but yeah, that's basically in front of your zipper. Issue is, if you undo this belt, the stretchy part runs away, and this guy wants to come out from all the belt loops and go like 3 belt loops back and run away on you because it's unstretched. So you have to kind of blindly, and I have a gut, so for me it's not so easy, but it's doable. You have to pinch this and blindly go all the way through. You see how it's not letting me, but it would. You have to fight it. So it goes through all the way. And this side now is also trying to run away because you're stretching the belt. So you pull this side as well. You try to kind of close them together under pressure, under tension, and then you try to hook it. You're doing it blindly under your gut, and for me, it's definitely not fun. Before I figured this little trick out, hopefully it's gonna help somebody. Before I figured this little trick out, every time you undo the pants, it was even way worse, right? Before I figured it out, but here's the trick. When you undo the pants, take this little hook thing and hook it onto that very first loop. Don't let that guy run away. So the gun is gonna hold it on the other side and not gonna let that side run away. But this side is being held by that little loop. This side is also, if it does run away on you and it goes here, it's easier to get back out. So you can pull on it and get it back out. This stretchy side is not gonna be easy to get out if you don't hook that first loop. So I just hook that first loop, go to the bathroom, take my pants off, do whatever it is that I need to be doing, put the pants back on, and then do that whole spiel with trying to hook it right back up onto this. So again, it's not easy. It's just easier once you know this little trick. So I wore it like this for a very long time, and every once in a while, again, I wore it in every different manner for a while. And every once in a while, I would try a different belt just to like compare and contrast type of thing. So I would be wearing this, Constantine belt for a while. Would wear it, and then grab, my old, I don't know, 511 belt and try that. And then I would wear it, grab my core belt and try that. And see, like, just so I can give you like a solid review and tell you like, hey, this one is better in that way, this one is better in this way. So what it came out to be, I have Enigma holsters, I have all kinds of different holsters and all kinds of different systems. What it came out to be is the closest to this comes this guy. And this is some ancient, I want to say it's VTAC, I'm not sure. It's a really old Cobra belt, Cobra buckle, Pro Style, whatever. So this is some old, I don't know, it's not Wilderness, I have Wilderness somewhere else. But this is that Velcro, old school, early 2000s vibes belt. And I was like, hey, let me try to wear that. I haven't worn that in years. And I put that on and I'm like, man, this is more comfortable in some ways than the Hunter Constantine belt. I'm not gonna say it's definitely more comfortable than the fancy schmancy new cores and 511s and all that stuff. It's definitely more comfortable. But I'm not gonna say it is more comfortable than Hunter Constantine, really. But one thing for sure is taking it off and on throughout the day or unbuckling it or whatever is way less of a pain in the butt. So I absolutely like this old school belt, and that thing is going back into my rotation type of thing. I'm gonna wear it more often because I haven't worn it in a very long time and I forgot how good it was. So overall, Hunter Constantine in some places, at least in some ways, it's awesome, it's amazing. So I like it way better than, let's say, Enigma, right? Why? Because I can wear it at 3 o'clock. I don't need any leg leashes, nothing like that. I can wear it at 3 o'clock. It doesn't bother me. I can have whichever the heck gun I want. Once you learn how to tighten this and loosen it, it's way easy to tighten it and loosen it on the go. I can literally, like, hey, if it's a heavier gun, I'll just tighten it a little more. If it's a lighter gun, I'll just loosen it a little bit, get a little more comfort as a trade-off. It's not gonna squeeze me as tight, but it's really darn good. But whenever you have to take it off and put it on, it's always a pain in the neck to buckle it and stuff. It's always like annoying. It's doable. It's not like it's the worst thing on the planet. It's doable. It's just like annoying. Every time you do it, you're like, oh gosh, this part is really annoying. So it works out. But in general, this buckle tends to slide a little bit. Actually got better with time. I thought it was gonna get worse with time. It got better with time. It slides a teeny bit. It doesn't slide bad. It slides a teeny bit, so you have to hike up your pants every once in a while and tighten that thing. Maybe like once throughout the day or twice throughout the day. If I'm doing something active, I would do that. Most of the time, it's not a big deal. Doesn't bother me much. But on the positive side is there is no other belt that I know of over here that would do as good of a job holding on, let's say, an Elias system or one of those heavy guns with this really aggressive, belt clips, and actually holding it in place without the gun going wonky all over the place on you. So doing something like that in in a bathing suit is pretty freaking awesome, if you ask me. Or that completely tucked, Shabbos carry, when you literally are not printing at all. There is nothing doing you. Nobody can see that there is anything like a gun on you when you're carrying a smaller, like micro compact, is also pretty darn good. So I definitely very much like it. And now that I have a lot of students that carry in this Lululemons and all these weird pants that don't have belt loops, this is the belt I'm recommending. There is 2 or 3 belts that I found out that have similar designs and they're cheaper. I'm gonna actually research them a bit. I have one student that bought something similar and I'm very much interested in looking into it. Maybe this is something that would make sense for me. So I definitely will give it a try. But as far as the quality, like the biggest thing I appreciate about this belt is the quality. The quality of this belt is absolutely freaking amazing. Probably one of the best quality pieces of gear I've got over time. Like, is it worth the money? It cost me 130 some bucks, I think, 120 some bucks. It's like extremely darn expensive. Is it worth that money? I really don't think so. I would love to find a cheaper alternative, and that would have at least similar features and would work the same way. Is this something that I'm going to be wearing from now on all the time? I'm not sure. I actually think I'm going to go back to this belt for a while. Whenever I'm carrying it like a normal person in a normal, in pants that have loops and stuff. If I don't have loops, if my pants don't have loops, this is absolutely the way to go. I actually very much enjoyed being able to carry on the beach or, exercise with the belt on. That's awesome. Great. I like it a lot. So that's my 2 cents on this whole Hunter Constantine belt. I do like it a lot. It has its downsides, and those downsides are not they're not crazy, but they're quite annoying when you have to, like, 7th time throughout the day, unbuckle that belt and try to find that hoop while pulling both sides of the belt toward each other under your gut. So that's where it gets like a little bit annoying. So you get some. If that would be I don't know, 60-70 bucks, I wouldn't say anything. But the money that it is, I'm gonna say something about that.